You're so fat that when you get on a scale, it says 1 at a time.
That is, bro, the greatest rage bait of all time. The greatest rage baiter ever known to man. The greatest rage baiter ever. Yo, I love this, bro.
Wait, hold up. I think you're just a little drunk, Liz.
A little bit.
I thought she was whispering. She biting the ear. Peter, you can name every single woman in the Marvel verse. I promise you, Peter has hit.
Spider-Man is probably one of the greatest Spider-Man storylines
100%.
ever told.
100%.
This came out
Come
with
on,
a
bro.
complete story
What you talking
for
about?
Spider-Man from life
What are you
to
talking
death.
about, bro?
And I wanted to let you guys have that story so you can enjoy it at your leisure. So today we're going to bring you the full story of Ultimate Spider-Man.
The Ultimate Universe. Many things are familiar here, while many things are also very contrasting. While there are many things that people liked about this world, in the end, it was destroyed in the Secret Wars, and some of the best parts were then merged with the original Marvel Universe. But that is at the end of the story, and I'm jumping ahead of myself, because I'm here to tell you the magnificent tale of Spider-Man, and we need to go back to the beginning, in a lab. You see, in this universe, the tale is a bit different at the start. Osborn Industries, the company that belonged to Norman Osborn, was conducting experiments, which led to experimenting on a spider, which was accidentally let free from its container. And this brings us to our young 15-year-old Peter Parker, a bookworm with his mind on other things, like his studies and girls, such as Mary Jane. But while his life as a punching bag always took a toll on him, there was someone who gave him hope and helped him through it. His Uncle Ben. You see, his parents both died when he was young, and they left him in the care of his Aunt May and Uncle Ben. And Ben, well, he looked after the boy like any father would. Peter was also close friends with the wealthiest kid at school, Harry Osborn, son of Norman Osborn. So, that night after dinner, Harry came by the Parker pad, as he called it, to learn about biology. And that's when Peter explained that his parents were supposedly killed in a plane crash, and that on the board in front of both of the boys was a formula that his father came up with before he died. The next day, the whole school went on a field.
I low-key forgot about that, though. I wonder what his dad was cooking up. We about to find out about that. We gonna find out about that.
On the board in front of both of the boys was a formula that his father came up with before he died. The next day, the whole school went on a field trip to Osborn Industries, where the fateful act happened. The weird spider from the start of our tale crawled out and bit Peter Parker on the hand, and with that, he hit the ground right away, starting to feel weird. Now, this part of the story remains much of the same. A young boy begins to slowly discover that he has powers, everything from strength, speed, and agility. And while this
joins the basketball team too. I hope he shows that off. He joins the basketball team, and then this nigga just starts going crazy, bro. That I feel like most people who have powers, they would do that same thing. Like, if you got powers, be honest, you are going straight to sports. If I had powers, I'm being so for real, bro. I'm joining every single sports team in high school, bro. I would have been the great dude. I would have been the freaking GOAT, my nigga. I would have actually been the greatest athlete of all time. You would have seen me on the football court. You would see me on the basketball court. I would have been running track. Y'all would have seen me everywhere. Everywhere, bro. Come on, man. I would have went stupid. That was like the most realistic thing ever. I loved that scene when I was a kid. We gonna see this. Loved that scene when I was a kid.
Was the boy going to live, or was he going to die? As things progressed, both Peter and Osborn began to see the growth of his abilities. But the problem is that with the growth of Peter's abilities, also grew his ego. And eventually he grew cocky. You see, as one of the kids picked on him, he retaliated, and he actually injured one of those kids.
Yeah,
the
I remember
parents
this.
demanded that Uncle Ben and Aunt May pay the $2,500 hospital bill for their child.
Damn.
Which drove Peter further into his own head. He had these abilities now. Why shouldn't he use them? And why can't he make money from them? He decided to enroll in wrestling matches to win a little.
We're gonna have to see this one. Hold on. We're gonna have to see this one. Let's see this.
You should have thought about that before you.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie, that's not even Peter's fault. I'm not even gonna lie, that's not even Peter's fault. You actually just lame, bro. And that would actually happen to so many heroes. I talked about this in my Batman video, bro. That should have happened to Batman when he hit that right hook on Darkseid's jaw. That should have happened to Batman. That happens to criminals that fight to Luke Cage. That should happen to so many niggas, and it never happens. There should, like, realistically, if you are going to punch Superman, your arm should break. Like, if Superman is able to tank what he could tank, this should be happening to so much more people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're literally punching a brick wall, bro. This should be happening to so many people. I'm like, I hate how underutilized this is used in like superhero media and things like that, bro. Like, this should be happening so much more often, bro. It should be happening so much more often. Like, you should be punching stuff and, like, you don't even move it. Like, your full force should literally break your arm. Like, that's how powerful y'all should be, honestly. But let's keep it going. Yo, the Miles Morales as a mask? Yo, hold on. Yo, hold on. Yo, WREF? Miles Morales didn't even exist then. That's crazy, though.
He had to wear a mask, as they wouldn't let a 15-year-old kid enroll in these things. The story of Peter Parker kept progressing as he excelled at sports and continued to win these matches until eventually he made an actual Spider-Man suit. But back at Osborn Industries, Norman decided that if this kid can gain powers from his formula, why couldn't he? So he has an individual known as Dr. Octavius run various tests on Peter's blood, and they figured out the perfect formula that made Peter into a superpowered individual. Except when they tried to test it on Norman Osborn, Dr. Octavius changed something in the formula. Something that he wanted to do, something that he wanted to alter. And it went wrong, and the entire lab was destroyed, and Norman Osborn went missing. Back with Peter, he continued to win at each and every match as Spider-Man. And as it was all working out, Peter was walking home one night when a thug ran up on him after robbing a deli. That was it. The moment that Peter could alter his entire history.
Yep.
This universe could go a completely different path. So what did the Peter Parker of the Ultimate Universe do? He let the robber go. It's not his problem, he told the deli owner. After that, Uncle Ben and Aunt May confronted him at the door to ask about his grades and ask why he was slipping. An argument ensued and Peter ran off into the night. He ended up at a party with girls coming on to him, and Mary Jane upset that she saw it. She did have feelings for Peter, though she didn't really know how to tell him. And
Damn, yo, my nigga was pulling. Number one, I got something I do gotta say though. Hold on. Let me go back. Number one, there's no way you're frying your son over this. Well, nephew, there's no way you're frying him over a AAA and then 1D. Yes, you should ask what's wrong. This is not a face you should be having though, bro. Hold on, bro. Hold on, I gotta see what he actually said. Let's go back to the motion comp. There's no way.
Priorities now.
Where have you been?
Practice.
What's going on?
With what? What?
English. How do you go from an A to this?
Can I see that?
Am I to assume that your other grades have slipped dramatically as well?
I don't know.
What's going on, Peter? This is serious.
I don't know. I guess I have different priorities now.
Different priorities? Your grades were such a point of pride for you, Peter. I don't understand. You know what? Maybe the basketball thing isn't such a good idea.
No way!
Peter, it's great that you discovered sports and all, but we have to think something's really wrong when we get a report from your school like this.
I can do whatever I want.
Oh, really?
I can't believe this!
Peter, I think you should apologize to your aunt for this tone of yours.
Screw this!
Okay, nah, so they weren't wilding. Okay, they weren't wilding. They actually showed concern. It was Peter who took that as offense. Yeah, like Peter should not have said this. Okay, never mind. Peter was wilding. I ain't gonna lie, Peter. You a hoe. Peter, you a hoe for that.
Uncle Ben and Aunt May confronted him at the door to ask about his grades and ask why he was slipping. An argument ensued and Peter ran off into the night. He ended up at a party with girls coming on to him, and Mary Jane upset that she saw
that
him.
nigga pulling. Bro, you see how she on him? Yo, my fault, my nigga. Hey, yo, my fault, boy. So Liz is only Spanish or Hispanic in the Spectacular Spider-Man. I know Liz is also well, she's black in Homecoming. I don't know any other Liz interpretations. I don't know any other interpretations of Liz, if I could speak. I don't know any other interpretations of Liz. I need to see what was the context of this. See, I like that we skipping around. I like this. I do like this variation. Let's see what Riz is putting up on her.
Right there on that couch.
Let's see what's up with this.
Let him?
Sure.
Puny Parker?
What are you, 6 years old?
Literally.
Mary's dad?
Where's Granny Jane tonight?
Don't call her that. And I don't know where Mary is, Liz. I haven't really talked to her today.
The little dude had a fight with his folks or whoever it is he lives with and asked to crash.
And you let him?
So what? Guys on the team. We gotta look out for each other.
Unbelievable.
Hate to break it to you,
Niggas
but
is
that guy
hating,
might have
bro.
gotten us into the state finals, so...
Oh,
Niggas
please.
hating, bro.
About Harry?
So you guys aren't dating?
No.
Do you like girls?
Yeah. What?
Hey, you can never be too sure, Mr. Parker. My mom was dating a gay guy for like a year. Never knew it.
No way.
Sounds like a fascinating woman, but
Yeah, where was Harry today?
Dude, I'm telling you, the man's dad was blowing up or something.
What?
What I heard.
Wouldn't that, like, be on the news or something?
Called him, but he wasn't home.
Look at that Liz, such a slut.
Yeah, bro, Flash hating like a mother effer, bro.
What do you think of me, Peter?
I think you're just a little drunk, Liz.
A little bit.
I thought she was whispering. She biting the nigga ear. Yo, that nigga Peter. I didn't even peep she was biting the ear. I ain't even peep she was biting the ear, bro. Nigga, this crazy.
Can I help it if I think you're just a little cute there, Mr. Parker?
Liz. Mary.
Aw, damn. Damn, bro.
She did have
Damn.
feelings for Peter, though she didn't really know how to
Damn.
tell him seeing him with that other girl.
Nah, Peter really liked that, bro.
Peter
This is that's exactly why I was hating on him in that video I made earlier this year where I said superheroes cannot handle all that, bro. Dude, Peter will pull all these women and will never do anything with the bag. It's actually so crazy. This nigga will pull so much. Peter, you can name every single woman in the Marvel verse. I promise you Peter has hit. There is a version of Peter Parker in the multiverse that has hit your shorty. It doesn't matter who you name. Name any Marvel girl in the chat. Peter has hit. Name any Marvel girl in the chat. Spider-Man has hit. Like, let's be real, bro. Sue Storm, he hit. Rogue, I'm pretty sure he hit. Black Widow, he hit. Silver Sage, he hit. Silk Spider, he hit. Jean Grey, I wouldn't be surprised. She-Hulk, he hit. Like, it's dude, Captain Marvel, the nigga was tapping on. Dude, every single girl in that damn verse. There is a Spider-Man out there that has crushed. It's actually not fair. When did he hit Black Widow? I don't know, but I guarantee you he probably has. I can guarantee you he has. You want to see? Watch this. Black Widow and Spider-Man kissing right here. Second picture. Watch this. Second picture. Does anyone remember Black Widow and Spidey kissing? Old comic, but right here. Like, look up any woman. Who else y'all want me to look up? It'll be them kissing. Who else you want me to look up? Who else y'all want? Jean Grey. Let's look up Jean Grey. Jean Grey, I'm pretty sure she was like, oh, he's so fine. No, they kissed too. Yeah, they also kissed. Lady Jean, I could thank her. Well, sir, I suppose that ties it up, doesn't it? Look at her. She geeked on the sauce. Look at that. Spider-Man done took your hoe. Who else? Who y'all want next? She-Hulk? I can guarantee you he cracked too. Watch this, bro. This is the greed they talk about in the Bible, my nigga. This is the greed they talk about in the Bible. Spider-Man wants to date She-Hulk. It looks like She-Hulk's denying him in here, though. Do they end up together? Do they have a comic where they hook up? Or no? There's no comic. Is there a comic where they hook up? It doesn't look like. It does not look like. Okay, She-Hulk might not be on the list. This is biblical lust. I swear to God, bro. This is biblical lust. Like, it's crazy. I could look up damn near any Marvel woman. Let's keep going, though.
After her, but as he got to the door, Uncle Ben was standing there
No
because
way.
his 15-year-old nephew was now at a party, and he was there to bring him home. He took him outside to ask him why he was doing this. He's such a smart kid. Why waste away his potential on things like these parties? He told Peter various things about his father. Things such as responsibility and what this means. He told Peter that his father believed that he was destined for great things.
Excuse me.
And with all of the great things that he was destined for, great responsibility would come. But that angered Peter more as he wanted to know if his father knew so much, why did he leave? And he ran off into the night, a confused kid. And by the time he got home, it was too late. You see, Uncle Ben and Aunt May, they were playing cards when they heard a noise in the back of the house. Ben decided that he would go see what it was, and when he got there, he found a man with a gun pointed at him. The robber demanded money, and Ben laughed, telling him that the robber had more money than any of them. That was it. A gunshot, and Uncle Ben was gone. But Peter wasn't about to lie around while the police failed to find the murderer. He ran out of the house, changing into his costume. Many of you know where this story goes next, but Peter tracked the murderer down into a warehouse, and the police cornered him. He crawled in, and after pinning the man down, he realized that it was the same man, the one that he failed to stop after the deli robbery. If he had stood up and done the right thing at that moment, this never would have happened. So he strung the robber up, refusing to kill him. Peter thought back to the full conversation that Uncle Ben had with him about his father, and he remembered the words exactly. Great things are going to happen in your life, Peter. Great things. And with that will come great responsibility. He looked at his mask with tears in his eyes, telling himself, I do now. He went off to become the hero that he was meant to be, saving kids from a burning building, beating up robbers and thugs.
Why is he arcing like that, ayo? Yeah, I didn't want to say nothing. I didn't want to say nothing, right? Yeah, I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to be the one to say it. I'm glad someone in the chat said it. I didn't want to be the one to say it. I didn't want to be the one to say it. This is crazy, bro. This is an insane. This is an arc no man should ever be hitting, bro. There is no man on the planet. There's no man that should be hitting this arc, twin. I'll be honest.
Great thing.
I'll be honest. Hey, that's tough page still. Tough page still. I'm trolling. Tough page still. But yeah, that is too funny, bro. That is too funny.
When he got home, he saw Mary Jane. She saw him and told him that Aunt May was staying at her house with her parents. He tried to talk to her, but he broke down crying, and she held him while he cried it out.
Yo,
but how was the rest of the
WMJ
city taking this turn of events?
You gotta keep. That's a keeper right there. They're not even together. She did that. Let's see this.
For you, bring you back to our place, you know, if you want. I was so worried.
Damn, bruh. Wow, yo, WMJ, bro. WMJ. They don't have a whole conversation. It's just this, right? They don't have a whole conversation.
With us.
Good.
They asked me to wait here for you, bring you back to our place, you know, if you want.
Damn, yo, WMJ, man. Yo, MJ get too much disrespect. I know most people only know the bad MJs, because all the most popular Spider-Man media have bad MJs, but like, yo, MJ be there for a nigga, though. MJ really be there for, and that's why it's always her. MJ really be there for a nigga when she there. Like, it's sad that the Sam Raimi made MJ so unlikable, bro. So unlikable. I think she's a little overhated. I only don't like her in Spider-Man 3, but even in Spider-Man 3, I feel like her anger is justified in terms of like Spider-Man kissing Gwen. Like, nigga, you were just wrong. Like, that nigga was just he was tweaking.
And assumed that he had to be a menace. So he wants as much information as he can get on this Spider-Man.
Out of here,
this
bro.
Is happening, Spider-Man is off inventing some new technology to go with his whole Spider-Man image. Basically, he created some web shooters using his father's formula for a molecular adhesive. It's strong, it's sticky, and he can shoot it out of his wrist thanks to some web shooters. The next day at school, Harry finally returned to school after losing his father in a freak lab accident, and as Peter is checking in on him, his new spider sense begins to go off. And following that, there's a loud boom! Fire and smoke begin to spew out of the school as Peter runs through the hallways trying to figure out what's going on. And it's Harry who seems to know as he's shouting, "Help me! He's here!" Using that as his entrance, Spider-Man arrives and he bolts into the building to see what exactly is happening. And with the sprinklers above raining on his head, Spider-Man calls out to whoever did this, and a very large man in a torn cloak stands in front of him. As a hall pass, and the man's eyes glow. He begins to hurl fireballs at Spider-Man. He bounces off of the walls, alerting our villain to the fact that this is a fire hazard, and he throws the mysterious villain into the lockers. The villain gets up and begins to swing, continuing his silence as Spider-Man continues his jokes, until eventually the villain slams Spider-Man into a wall, launching him out of the school. He continues to squeeze Spider-Man, keeping him from breathing, and then he lands in a park and he jumps again. As they're leaping through the air, his cloak begins to come off and Spider-Man sees a big Green Goblin face, which growls the word, Parker. Spider-Man looks at him. Who are you? And instead of responding, he throws Spider-Man down as
Yeah,
the streets
knows his
below.
identity
He begins
from
to
the
panic.
jump.
How can I survive this?
From
Is this
the
end
jump.
already? Until it dawns on him. His webbing. He whips it towards one building and then another building, begging for this to work. And then, like a giant trampoline, it propels him back into the sky. He cheers out,
Go.
excited that it
Yo,
actually
please
worked.
zoom out. Let me
When
see
we
this
think-
whole page. Zoom out, please. I need to see this whole page. Zoom out, please. Yo, this page is so
I wonder
fire.
if my other idea
I don't
would
think he
work.
does.
And he
No.
whips onto a nearby
Oh, that
building,
page is so
swinging into
tough,
action
too.
and landing square
Damn.
into the Goblin's back. As he gets a couple of shots in, the Goblin reaches up, grabbing his head, and he throws him back into the ground. He throws out 2 more thwips, but the Goblin dodges, and it attaches to the nearby helicopter. While they both stand there staring at each other, another problem has presented itself as the Goblin now sees the looky-loos who have joined the fight, and he begins to sprint off towards them. Spider-Man tries to attach his webbing to the Goblin, but he has too much sheer strength, and he pulls Spider-Man right off of the wall.
My
he then throws his
goodness.
cloak into the air with Spider-Man still attached, and he leaps up to the level of the helicopters. His hands begin to burn brightly as he prepares to throw more fireballs at them. And as Spider-Man gets between the Goblin and the helicopters, he shouts, "Stand down! I won't let you hurt these people!" But that's the moment that the officers in the helicopter take their shots.
Yo, look at this nigga's build.
Spider-
Oh my god. Yo, this is like on some absolute Green Goblin, bro. Look at this nigga's build. My goodness. Nigga built like Bane, I'm saying. Jeez.
Officers in the helicopter
Bro.
take their shots, peppering the Goblin's chest with bullets. Spider-Man calls out to them to stop shooting as the Goblin holds his chest, all bloodied, and he looks at Spider-Man. "Parker!" he shouts as he leaps at him, but Spider-Man jumps over his head, dodging him, allowing the Goblin to fall into the bay, where he falls deeper and deeper into the water. He turns to the police, telling them that they have to save the guy if they can, but instead the police open fire on Spider-Man. He dodges and he rolls out of the way, getting out of sight, before changing back into Peter and going back to the school.
All right. So there's a few things I wanted to comment on, but I wanted to wait before I ended up saying it. There's like stuff from like 3 minutes ago that I wanted to say stuff on, but I didn't want to yap in the middle of that section. So number one, how do y'all feel about Peter building web shooters? I know that his web shooters are not organic. That's only a Sam Raimi thing. But if I will be honest, I low-key prefer it being organic. I low-key prefer Spider-Man having the webs come out of his body. Pause. Because if Peter makes it, if it's just like, oh, the spider webs are made because he's smart, I feel like that takes away from him, bro. Because, like, everybody in Marvel, there's so many smart Marvel people, bro. And it's like, they do some cool stuff with the web shooters where it's like, oh, like, sometimes he runs out of stuff. Like, he runs out of web shooters. And, like, you gotta fight without the web shooters. I like the stuff like that. But I feel like the web should come if you're a spider. No? Like, I don't know. And I just like how it makes the powers of Spider-Man more exclusive. I think you building the stuff is too replicable. I don't like how replicable it could be. Number two, what y'all think about that Goblin design? Cause bro, this is tough. This is tough. Now I do like the goofy design. I do like goofy Green Goblin when he has like the goofy like little clown fit with the hat on and all that. I love that fit of Green Goblin. That Green Goblin fit, I love that Green Goblin fit. Like this fit right here. Y'all know the fit. I don't even have to show it on screen. Y'all know the fit. I like the Sam Raimi version too, but I think my favorite has to be like the original. It looks so good. The original looks so good. We need a live action Green Goblin that wears this fit. If Willem Dafoe, before he retires, wears this in like a spider, bro, he will be the best. He's already one of my favorite actors of all time. I think he'd be solidified the best, not only villain, but like the best everything, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I would glaze this nigga to high heaven. You let Norman Osborn, Mr. Willem Dafoe wear this, dude. My goodness, I love it. I love it. I can't wait, bro. But let's click this though. Let's keep going.
Going back to the school. He stumbles out of the school claiming that he was under a chalkboard, and Mary Jane rushes over giving him a huge hug. Harry decides to tell everyone who that was at that very moment, and he informs the group that it was his father. Norman Osborn did not die in the lab. He changed into that thing, and now he's after Harry to kill him. As the police bring Harry in for questioning.
No way. Why are you after Harry? Yo, this nigga hates his son so much. This nigga actually despises his son. This is so crazy.
Peter can't help but wonder
No way.
what's to come next. Our story begins as a man stands over a group of security guards telling them that he's pretty sure he didn't get paid enough to take another hit. So they should probably just give him the money. Panicking, one of the guards tells him, just take the money, take whatever you want. And our mysterious man tells him, no, I want you to crawl and bring it to me. And then a voice tells him, you're so... Peter swings by punching the man, asking, who are you supposed to be? The vibrator? The man lifts his arms up to try and shock Peter, but as he does, Peter whips out his web onto the man's device and he ends up shocking him.
Hey, hold on. Shout out Gilga Fresh with the $5 dono. I just saw that. The reason why Alt Goblin is ripped is because Bendis hated Venom so much he made Norman that bulky, so he didn't have to use him on... So he didn't have to use him only to do so later. Oh, so he made Goblin... Thank you for the 5, by the way. But he only made Goblin that ripped, so he didn't have to use Venom. That's low-key petty. That is low-key so petty, though. I'm not gonna lie, that is so petty, bro. Why did he not like Venom? Yo, Gilga Fresh, if you still in here, you gotta answer. Why does he not like Venom? That is so crazy, bro.
Okay. They might want to call the... But one of the guards stomps...
The vibrator?
Guards get up and Peter whip supposed to be. The vibrator? The man lifts his arms up to try and shock Peter, but...
Nah, that's insane. Yo, Ultimate Spider-Man is actually hilarious. This nigga is actually hilarious,
Peter
bro.
whips out his web onto the man's device and he ends up shocking him. The security guards get up and Peter asks if they're okay. They might want to call the... But one of the guards stops him, assuming he's also a criminal. Just take the money! Confused, Peter tells them, what? No, just call the cops, will you? The next day... At school, Peter overhears some of the students talking about Spider-Man showing up in Brooklyn. One of them mentions that the paper was offering money for pictures of Spider-Man, which gives Peter an idea. So after school, he heads home and sets his camera up to begin taking photos. And as he does, he asks himself if he's really doing this. He really needs money, but this is a bit much. The next day, J. Jonah Jameson is shouting to everyone that he doesn't care what they want, he wants pictures of Spider-Man. And that's when he meets Peter Parker holding out a picture of Spider-Man. Everyone stops to look and Jonah takes the stack, asking, where in good God's green earth did you get these? Peter tells him, I called in a little while ago about them. I got them when Spider-Man came to my school. Jonah looks at them and asks, did you take these pictures? And Peter tells him, yeah. So he starts sifting through all the photos.
Bro, do y'all think that someone could get away with this in real life? Not counting AI. Pretend AI does not exist. Do you think people could actually do this in real life? Like, I be seeing the TikToks. It's like, bro, Peter Parker will really be having the most, like the most obvious picture or the most impossible picture and pose of Spider-Man, and people still wouldn't think that it was him. Like, I feel like he would have been caught. I feel like he would have 100% of been caught.
Thank you, Mr. Jameson.
Right.
This picture right here, I actually took this one on my morning walk. Today.
This one right here?
Yep.
Today?
Today. Spidey guy, I guess we just crossed paths. You know, sometimes I can't even believe it. One time I was snapping a picture, right? And he waved at me. Guess what he said? Hey, citizen, get my good side. And guess what I did? Snap.
Okay, but Peter, it's just, I don't understand how you got
Yeah, like, bro, come on, bro. Like, come on, my nigga. Come on. Like, how do you get this picture? How do you get this picture? Bro? This is insane. How do you get this? How do you even get that flick? This is absurd. Come on, bruh. Nigga, this is crazy. Nigga using drones. Nah, I swear to God, bruh. Zeph, when you're looking at the Discord, like I had in bed in 5. It won't be for a minute, I'll be honest, bro. So I ain't gonna lie, you probably have to hit the sheets, bro. I'll be so real with you. It probably won't even be for a minute. I
was telling him each one of these is crap. From the bunch, there is one that he pulls out. Jonah eyeballs Peter up and down and he says, old are you? I'm 16, sort of. And Jonah tells him, fine, I'll give you 50 for it. But before Peter can ask anything, Betty Brant begins to scream at her computer, shouting that she will light this whole place on fire. Jonah asks her what...
Yo, Betty Brant look old as hell here, bro. Yo, it's so funny because Sam Raimi's Betty Brant is so tough.
wrong,
See
and
where
Betty
we're going.
tells him that she's an associate book editor, not a web designer, and she can't get this thing to work. It constantly freezes. Peter looks down at the screen and tells them that he sees the problem, and with a few clicks, he clears out the script error. Jonah begins signing over the payment of the pictures and asks Peter again, how old are you? You go to school or something? You need a job? After accepting the job, Peter heads home for the night, and as he sleeps, he begins to have the same nightmare that's been haunting him ever since Uncle Ben's death. He wakes up screaming that he couldn't stop it. He just couldn't stop it. So the next day, he decides he's gonna go look up information on that robber. And as he enters in the information, 2 links pop up, one with an image. The image shows the man with other thugs. And through a link of all of the thugs, Peter realizes that the man at the top of the list is Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin. After work, Peter spies on the 3 thugs that he saw in the photo with Uncle Ben's killer. As the men head into their hideout, Peter kicks the men inside, telling everyone that he's here to sign up for the wet t-shirt contest. Dan goes to grab his gun, but Peter whips his webs out, knocking the gun out of his hand. The bigger man, Ox, steps up, and Peter punches him with all he's got, and quickly realizes punching Ox may not have been the best idea. He swings, knocking Peter into Dan, and then Montana cracks her whip, wrapping it around Peter's neck. She tells everyone that this is just a Fed trick. They need to throw this kid out and bolt the doors. Ox tells him that he's just being paranoid, but as Ox tries to swing again, Peter jumps up onto the wall. As he lands, he pulls on Montana's whip, and he throws him into Ox. He then webs up the 2 of them and throws Dan into the group. Peter looks at them and tells them, I know you guys work for the Kingpin. I would like to know where he's at. So they go ahead and spill the beans, and they tell him that Kingpin is holding a fundraiser at his office on Friday. A real MVP, VIP sort of thing. Real legit. Peter then realized...
Yo, Spider-Man is an elite... I'll tell him this. This Ultimate Spider-Man is low-key an elite trash talker. I'll be honest. An elite trash talker. He might be 101. He might indeed be 101.
That they're kind of spilling the beans on a lot of information and asks, why are you telling me all of this? The man says he works for Kingpin. Doesn't mean he has to like him. Seconds later, the front door is kicked in by 2 FBI agents bursting in, telling everyone to freeze. The woman stops for a moment and then says, it's him! It's Spider-Man! Peter tells them that it's really not what it looks like, and the agents tell him to put his hands in the air. Thinking quickly, he tells them, look at the time! I've really got to get going, and he jumps over the agents and swings away. The next day, Peter stops by the newsstand to read the headline, Spider-Man, Mob Menace. Later that night, as Peter heads over to the big VIP MVP thing that Kingpin's doing, he gets to the tower and he watches as Kingpin gives his speech. Peter tells himself that he's going to find a way to expose Kingpin, all of the drugs, thievery, and murder. All he does is write a check and suddenly he's a good guy? Ironic, really. People
Dude, it's crazy. I really don't know. Crazy voice crack. I do not clip that. I really don't know how these like drug lords be so well known and like everybody knows that they do bad stuff and they don't just get arrested. Like, I feel like y'all niggas already know. I know you need proof and evidence, but it's like y'all niggas already know though.
Is a good guy, and Spider-Man is the bad guy. As Peter climbs up through the window, he begins to search through Kingpin's office, and then he suddenly notices a lens in the distance. Peter tells him that he's starting to get a funny feeling when things start to feel like they're about to go wrong again, almost like a spider sense kind of thing. And suddenly Kingpin appears, reaching out, grabbing him. He asks if there's anything that he can do for him, and Peter spins around punching him, realizing that he's got to stop punching giant guys. Kingpin grabs a hold of his arm, asking who sent him, and through the pain of having his arm crushed,
this nigga's huge, bro. That's that rod wave. That's that rod wave weight right there. I can't even say it. That's a tongue twister. Yo, try saying that, bro. Rod wave weight. That is a crazy tongue twister saying that fast. God damn.
Carson Daly. He kicks himself away, and Kingpin tells Electro to take care of this. He needs to get back down to his guests. Out of the group of men behind Peter, one man's eyes begin to glow, and electricity begins to spark around him. Electro fires the bolt of electricity, zapping away at Peter.
Yo, why bro
Kingpin tells
caked up?
Electro that this is his office.
Why that nigga
and
caked?
after a few more blasts, Electro.
God damn. Yo. Tell Electro he lucky I'm not behind all that, bro. Tell that nigga he lucky I'm not buying all that.
Finally hits him. He tells him that he's sorry about the room, but this really isn't an exact science or anything. And Kingpin tells him to just take off the mask. One of the men pulls Peter's mask off to see that he's a kid. He then tells him to call for Mr. Big.
They actually get him. Damn, that was easy. You got this nigga's identity in 14 minutes? Yo, you are a fraud, gang. Yo, how Green Goblin know you already? And these niggas. You 14 minutes into being Spider-Man. This is insane. Come on. Come on, man.
Wired. And Electro asks, what are we gonna do about the kid? Toss him out the same way that he came in. And also find this Carson Daly person and destroy him. As Peter's body is thrown out the window, he slowly begins to wake up and tries to catch himself along the building. But as he does, he grabs onto a window by the ballroom and everyone watches. He slides down and falls off. A little while later, Peter heads home telling himself that he messed up bad. He got electrocuted, had his web shooters crushed, and his mask ripped off and then thrown out a skyscraper. Maybe he shouldn't have gone down there. The next day at Kingpin's tower, Kingpin shows Mr. Big Peter's mask, telling him, I had a visitor last night. Come into the office. He came into the office and started a fight, almost ruining my dinner party. Mr. Big laughs, stating, he sounds like that's Gavoots and Martha Stewart. The entire room goes silent, and Mr. Big says, it's starting to sound like you have elevated yourself above all of us here common thugs, Mr. Kingpin. Rumor has it that you can't even get your hands dirty anymore. And Kingpin decides to respond to that. Finally, Mr. Big takes a stand, and then he looks at Ox and Montana, telling them, it's time to pick a side. Ox and Montana grab a hold of Mr. Big's arms, telling him, you have to understand. Kingpin takes off Mr. Big's hat, and then slides Peter's mask onto him and begins to wrap his hands around his head. Kingpin's hands begin to come together, and his grip begins to get tighter, and Mr. Big begins to scream out in pain, until finally, he stops screaming. The next morning, Peter watches the news as reports of the body of Mr. Big floating down the river wearing the mask of Peter are being aired. He tells himself being demasked isn't the worst thing to happen to a superhero. This right here is the worst thing that can happen to a superhero. The next day in class, the teacher begins to review what type of man Richard Nixon was when he was president and why he had everything recorded. The class begins to shout out answers, and one of them says that he was paranoid, to which the teacher tells him that that is correct. The teacher goes on asking, why would a paranoid man record all of the questionable dialogue? And Peter remembers back to when he saw the security footage in Kingpin's office, and he says, because he thought he was untouchable. After class, Peter begins searching online for security systems and finds the company name rather quickly, so he has an idea. And he emails the company stating that he's interested in getting security for his business, and he would like information on some of the systems that they use for their larger businesses. After heading home for that day, he checks his computer to find the security company emailed him back and told him the exact model that all of the large companies use, as well as a link to the technical pages for how they work. After watching everything that they've given him, he realizes that they record everything on DVDs, and he needs to get those DVDs. Because not only will they have a video of him being demasked, but it also will allow him to find out what the Kingpin has been doing. Later that night, Peter sets out and sneaks into Kingpin's tower. And once he gets inside, he sneaks up on the security guard.
That nigga going crazy.
System,
that nigga about to go stupid.
Meanwhile, back upstairs, Kingpin talks with Electro and his men regarding the fact.
Bro, we see your eyes, bro. God damn, do you have to see enough? Can you see enough? Look, that man got them little Dirk eyes. Look at this nigga's pupils. So, yes.
They need to find that Spider-Man kid. Downstairs, Peter is fighting off the second security guard, and the guard fires a few shots hitting the building's electrical panels. Suddenly, the whole building loses power. Now, with everyone knowing that someone is here, Peter runs over to the security server and rips the door off of the hinges. He cycles through a few discs and takes the ones with the date of him being there and a few of the extra ones. He then packs up and gets a funny feeling, and a bolt of electricity shoots by. He barely dodges the strike, and then a whip lashes out, wrapping around his neck. As Peter looks back, he sees Electro, and Electro tells him, don't worry, this will only hurt a lot. Peter manages to break free from the whip and begins fighting everyone and dodging their attacks. Dan starts shooting, but Peter asks him, how many times do I have to tell you? No guns! And he webs up his hands again. Before jumping away, Ox grabs a hold of Peter's leg and begins slamming him back and forth into the computers. Peter lays in the ground,
back
grabs him by the neck and tells him, we should go on and bring you to the Kingpin. But as everyone looks at Peter, he shouts, acting, ta-da! And he kicks Montana and Electro away. Electro fires the bolt, but Peter dodges out of the way of that one, and the bolt ends up hitting Ox. Montana, in response to that, cracks her whip as Electro is apologizing. And as the end of the whip is getting closer, Peter grabs it and pulls it to bring Montana to him and then kicks him back down. With Ox and Montana down, Electro begins firing away trying to hit Peter, so he jumps down, grabbing him by the wrist, telling him, I'm kind of curious as to how you got your powers. Are you a mutant? And Electro responds with, are you? Peter tells him that he asked first, so Electro tells him he's not a mutant. But why would you care anyway? Peter responds with, I'm a huge science geek, so I'm kind of sort of into this stuff. I will say this, after they take care of you, we're gonna be going after your friends and your family. They're all gonna be fried. And Peter tells him, if that's the case, then you can't be mad about me doing this. He kicks a water pipe and throws Electro into the pouring water. The water
that nigga, bro.
And soon he begins.
He straight up told him to his face, I'm going to slime out your entire family after I'm done with you. And he's just continuously joking in his face. This man refuses to take anything seriously, bro. I cannot believe this man Spider-Man. Ultimate Spider-Man suit is so tough. Not really, for real. I'm telling you, the art in general of all this is so tough. His suit is elite. Peter Parker's design we were talking about earlier is just straight elite. One of the best Peter Parker designs. Like, they cook with this series, bro. I'm telling you. If this had a show, it'd be the best Spider-Man show of all time. I think people would say that clear.
to fall over. Looking down at everyone, Peter hears Ox trying to wake up. So he jumps down on him and tells him that if he wants to do the right thing, march that incredibly stupid butt over to the comp and confess what they did. And then he begins to run towards the exit, thinking to himself, he did it. He really did it. How cool is he? But before he can open the door, Kingpin's voice tells him, there is no way that you're going to leave here alive. So, who are you working for? Peter stops and tells him, I had something prepared for the next time we ever met. So, okay, here goes. You're so fat that when you cut yourself...
Oh, yeah, no. We have to watch stuff for this scene. No. This is where he says all the jokes. No. This is one of his best scenes. Where is it? Right here? Yeah.
Who are you working for?
You're right. You don't know me. You don't know why I'm doing this. And I promised myself that if I ever had a moment face to face with you again, that I would tell you. There are all kinds of things I wanted to say to you, and I was afraid I was going to forget to say them. And I really wanted to remember to tell you these things because they are really important to me. Okay, here goes. You are so fat that when you cut yourself shaving, marshmallow fluff comes out. No? Okay, how about this one? You are...
Yeah, I'm telling you, I might steal that for a video, bro. I might steal that one for a video, bro. Let's keep it going. Hold on.
That your high school yearbook photo was taken from a helicopter. Woo,
crazy.
Okay, how about you are so fat that when you get on a scale, it says 1 at a time.
That is, bro, the greatest rage bait of all time. The greatest rage baiter ever known to man. The greatest rage baiter ever. Yo, I love this nigga, bro.
Wait, how about this one? Your belly button makes an echo. If you were a truck, you would have a wide load sign. When you back up, we can hear a beeping sound. Well, how about...
Ain't no way.
Such an arrogant, evil guy that you think...
Wasting my time.
That you can just walk all over everyone in this city. Murderer! You steal and use people.
And I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, blah, blah. You sell drugs to children and don't give it a thought. Children!
Ain't no freaking way. Hold on, let me go full screen for this.
You are a dead man.
As much as I hate you, as much as you make my skin crawl, I didn't come here to fight you. Any idiot can do that. I have something so much better planned.
Oh my gosh, yo, that nigga, bro. That nigga's pure muscle. That nigga's pure muscle. I be calling him fat too, but nah, Kingpin is built. It's so sad that Kingpin all of his fits be hiding how built he is, bro. He be wearing that suit. It just makes him look fat, especially his face. Bro, he just be looking fat, but it's like that nigga's the Hulk. That nigga's legitimately the freaking Hulk. Look at this nigga.
You little shit. You are so in over your head that...
And he dipped out that bit. Left that nigga for dead, bro.
Marshmallow fluff comes out.
I just skipped this part. We just watched this.
And tears away at the webbing on his face to find nothing. The next day at the Daily Bugle, writer Ben Urich sits at his desk watching a video of the murder of Mr. Big. He then reads a note left to him that enclosed all sorts of goodies on...
Low-key, that's the point. I feel like Kingpin wants people to underestimate his bulk. That would be in character. That would 100% in character. Kingpin is canonically all muscle and not fat. Yeah, he just looks fat, especially in Spider-Verse. Like, bro, he looks obese in Spider-Verse. Like, I don't see his Spider-Verse design and be like, nah, he's actually built crazy. Like, he's buff. He looks fat. Like, when I be talking about some fat nigga takes, I'm talking about Kingpin. He looks so big back in Spider-Verse. It's actually sad. He looks so morbidly obese. It's insane.
Kingpin. P.S. Not for the squeamish. Elsewhere, Kingpin begins to read the headline. American Kingpin of crime caught on tape. Whereabouts unknown. His lawyer tells him not to worry, he'll get him out of this. But really, someone was murdered and it was caught on tape. Kingpin looks at him and he walks away. During all of this, Peter Parker and Mary Jane have been having an interesting relationship. He wants to go out with her, she seems to like him, but she's also seeing a bunch of other people. It's kind of confusing, but it's typical high school drama. But the next day after all of those events happen, after school, Peter sits nervously with Mary Jane sitting on his bed and tells her, so yeah, there's something I wanted to tell you. She stares at him telling him,
she's seeing a bunch of other people is crazy. Come on, Peter. That's tough. How many people is she seeing? How many people is she seeing?
Okay. And he tells her, really, you can't tell anyone, like ever. And she tells him, okay. And Peter tells her, you gotta promise. So she says she promises. And after a few awkward moments of silence, he tells her, I'm Spider-Man. She looks at him and asks, you're Spider.
The way I forgot this even happened, there is no way. There is no way. Bro. That's realistic, but nigga, there's no way, bruh. Bro, I dead forgot this. What the freak? Is it, unless he's like pranking her, nigga, he really does. Oh no, I remember this. No, I remember this. Yeah, I remember this. I remember this panel. No, I remember this. Nah. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is such a stupid move. But I feel like a lot of y'all niggas would do that, bro. If you guys were talking with a shorty and like they said she's talking to other dudes and like you wanted to secure her and you were a superhero, I feel like a lot of y'all niggas would do that too. I feel like a lot of y'all niggas would do that to secure a shorty. Like, you got a redhead snow bunny in front of you in your room chatting you up, but you gotta get that one little thing across the edge to make her yours, bro. I feel like a lot of y'all niggas would spill the secret. I feel like a lot of y'all niggas would. I would not. No. Me? No. Hell no. Nah. I would not just drop like, oh, I'm a superhero. That's crazy. That is so crazy. But I wouldn't say all that. Y'all saying cap in the chat. That's not cap. That is not cap, bro. That is on my madre. That's not cap. Not cap whatsoever,
tells her yes,
bro.
and she bursts out laughing, so much so that she falls off the bed. She tells him to shut up. He's being such a goofball right now. And he says that he knew that he would have to do this. And he begins jumping from wall to wall.
Yeah, I remember this now. Yeah, I remember this now. So you wouldn't tell your girl? I would not tell my... If I was a superhero, I would not tell my girl. Like, if I knew the risk of it... Like, again, he's 15. So it makes sense for him to make that mistake. I'm 21. I'm not... No, I wouldn't tell him. Nah. Unless like it got so bad to the point where it's like I literally can't even handle my life and like I low-key have to. Like, I wouldn't say anything. I wouldn't say nothing. I wouldn't say nothing.
To be okay, and then she begins to scream. Peter tells her to be quiet. Aunt May is home, so you gotta. But then May's voice shouts, "What's going on up there? Better not be any hanky-panky." After finally controlling herself, Mary Jane asks, "How did it happen?" And Peter explains that it happened when he went to Harry's dad's work and the spider bit him. That's when she realizes that the spider almost bit her, and she could have been Spider-Man too. And then the next part of the conversation goes on to what is he gonna do because he's Spider-Man, and can she see the costume? Over at the medical facility, two doctors begin to review their newest patient. They begin to try and decide whose turn it is to clean out Dr. Octopus's bedpan. When the man
imagine you telling your girl you're a superhero and a nigga like Slade pull up. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yo, imagine you have a girlfriend and then you tell her that you're Spider-Man and then a nigga like Slade pull up on your life, bro. Like, I mean, whether you tell her or not, a nigga like Slade is still gonna pull up on her. But like, I don't know, bro. Like, telling won't do anything if they find out your identity, to be fair. Unless like the person you tell just starts snitching. Like, but like me telling my sister and she doesn't tell anybody does not change nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's still insane. Now we got my nigga Doc Ock.
Wake up. Otto Octavius asks, "Why would you call me that? My name is Otto." And a metal arm begins to rise as he shouts, asking, "Why did you call me that?" Meanwhile, over at Midtown High, Peter and the rest of his classmates head over to the school pep rally. Kong mentions that he's starting to think that their new assignment of making a report on which superhero they would like to be seems pretty dumb. And everyone tells him that maybe it's him who's dumb. But Kong says that he's not so sure. All of these superheroes and mutants popping up. Maybe it's a sign. Maybe they should be watching out. Peter asks, "What do you mean by watch out?" And Kong says that he's not sure. He just feels like there's gonna be some real trouble real soon. A voice then tells them that it's a meteor. And everyone looks over to see a blonde girl standing along the wall. She says that it's kind of like when the meteor wiped out the dinosaurs. Except for them.
And if I'm not wrong, I think Kong or somebody picked Spider-Man as like the assignment thing.
Coming. She goes on
I'm getting the memories of this back as we're going through.
Because in a sense, they all have superpowers in their own way, even if they're not superpowered or mutants. Kong asks, "Who are you?" And the girl tells him, "Gwen." Gwen Stacy. And it's her first day here, back over at the medical facility. Otto Octavius begins to wake up, and Hank Pym sits on his bed, telling him that it's good that he's awake, but it's time that they talked. He explains that there was an accident in Osborne Industries that left him in a coma for the last 3 months. Otto says that he doesn't really remember what happened, and as he tries to process it, he begins to feel the metal arms. He asks what have they done to him, and Hank goes on stating that during that accident, he suffered damage to his face and neck areas, but more notably, it seems that he was fused with his own mechanical harness. Though they're not sure as to how, the arms are locked into his central nervous system, and they react and function like normal arms. Otto Octavius leans up and shouts at them to take off his bandages, and as they slowly comes off, he sees the arms. Hank tells him that it could be a breakthrough with
Yeah, that's so tough. Oh, that's so tough. Oh, that's so tough. That is so tough.
They could work
That's
together.
so
And
tough.
Otto says that they found him like this. They could have taken this on.
That
him,
is
but
so
they chose not to.
tough.
Who do they think they are? Hank says that they can't say, but they are the United States government, and they can't really tell him where he is. The metal arms begin flailing, and one shoots through the chest of one of the other doctors. Otto then looks back over to Hank, demanding to know where he is. The next day at school, Kong comes to a conclusion that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Flash Thompson tells him that he's absolutely crazy, like completely crazy. But Kong says that it makes sense. That day in the field trip, Peter Parker got bitten by a spider, so he's Spider-Man. Just think about it, he broke a desk, he's super good at basketball now. That means that he's Spider-Man. Flash begins to laugh, and Kong tells him, watch, he's gonna go kick Peter, and when he dodges it, that'll show everyone. Over at his locker,
And he falls
Peter's
in the
spider
locker.
sense begins to go off, but instead of dodging it, he flat out takes the hit. In pain, Peter looks back, asking, why would you do something like that? Through the crowd of students, a voice then asks what's their problem, and Gwen walks up to Kong, telling him that if he ever does that again, then everyone notices that Gwen's holding a knife. A teacher comes.
First off, I was gonna talk about the locker thing. Damn, Gwen. Damn, Gwen. Yo, y'all niggas just met and Shorty rolling for you like this. I ain't gonna lie. Damn, yo, who y'all taking, MJ or Gwen? Yo, Gwen already. Damn, they both W Shorty. So, and Mary Jane already done what she need to. So like this is not enough to put you over Mary Jane, but this is like she there. I ain't gonna lie, she there. I ain't gonna lie, like this is one of them ones. 2, I remember this scene. This makes mad sense though, bro. Like, especially in the Sam Raimi version, like, bro, you saw Peter Parker hit a triple backflip over the bullies. You telling me nobody was like, yo, this nigga, like, what if he was Spider-Man? Like, he was a loser. And then all of a sudden that happens. Come on, bro. He's on to something. He's on to something. I don't know. I don't know how you could see a nigga triple backflip over a bully and be like, nah, he's different.
That it makes sense. That day in the field trip, Peter Parker got bitten by a spider, so he's Spider-Man. Just think about it, he broke a desk, he's super good at basketball now. That means that he's Spider-Man. Flash begins to laugh, and Kong tells him, watch, he's gonna go kick Peter, and when he dodges it, that'll show everyone. Over at his locker, Peter's spider sense begins to go off, but instead of dodging it, he flat out takes the hit. In pain, Peter looks back, asking, why would you do something like that? Through the crowd of students, a voice then asks,
shout out Peter, though. That nigga's smart. That nigga's smart for that, though. Shout out Peter. He's smart as hell.
Drops the knife, obviously, because she doesn't want to get caught with it. The teacher then grabs Gwen by the arm and tells her that it's a great way to start her second day of school. Later, after school in the city, a man begins to run off after grabbing a woman's purse. The man tells everyone to watch it as he runs, and then suddenly, the purse is webbed out of his hand. Peter then jumps in, kicking the man, stating that feels better. He was looking for a big bald guy to knock out. The man tries to fight back, but Peter knocks him in the head and webs him to.
So I would have scrambled them niggas, and that's exactly why you're not Spider-Man. You would have dodged that, you would have beat them up, and then they would have realized you're Spider-Man just off that. I'm telling you, all them niggas would knew your name, and Green Goblin would have been at your house the exact next day. I'm just letting you know, bro. That's why some of y'all are not built for the role. Like,
The ground.
just gotta
He then
be
hops
real.
over telling the woman that he brought back her purse. It was his pleasure to help. But everyone, including the woman who was robbed, just stare at him. She grabs the purse and begins to run off. And Peter begins to say to everyone openly, why can't a guy in his underwear just go around the city helping people without them thinking that he's crazy or something? Back as Peter looks around.
What's good, Zeb? Coming from South Africa. Hey, shout out, it's Connor 1233. Shout out to you, bro. South Africa is crazy. Shout out to you, bro.
He
I have
notices
cousins down there.
that he's in front of the Daily Bugle. J. Jonah Jameson is watching him. He asks if he's the guy who's been printing all of that garbage about him just to sell papers. Because if so, he has one thing to say to him. He jumps up shouting, "Love it! It's hysterical!" And he leaves. J. Jonah Jameson looks around and says that he thought Spider-Man was going to hit him. Maybe they should get back inside where it's safe. But as Jonah begins to move, he falls flat on his face with webbing covering his feet. Once inside, writer Ben Ulrich says that he got a lead on a recent murder on a woman in her home.
Damn, Spider-Man hold him.
Dr. Otto
Spider-Man
Octavius.
hold him.
He explains that Otto was one of the chief scientists at Osborn Industries, one of the individuals that was thought dead during the explosion where Norman Osborn went missing. But he was in fact not dead. Sources state that Otto was taken to a government hospital somewhere in South Jersey, where he managed to escape. It's also said that Otto was being observed because of complications in his condition brought on by the explosion. J. Jonah Jameson asks, what does he mean by complications? And Ben tells him that he's unsure, but after what happened with Norman Osborn turning into the Goblin, it's safe to say that something fishy is going on. Jonah tells him it's okay, let's just assume that Otto killed the woman in her home. So the next question is, why? Ben says that no one would really know. Maybe he didn't expect her there when he went back to his old home, or maybe something horrible happened to him and he's gone crazy. Then outside of the office, Peter sits listening as Jonah tells Ben to go on and see what the good doctor has to say. Later that night, Otto Octavius sits in an office talking to himself. He knows what happened. It's all his fault. He paid him to give him his secrets from Norman, and when he ran out of uses for him, he tried to get rid of him. The only problem is, Otto Octavius doesn't know who he is. Otto shouts that he should have made sure that he was dead because now he's going to make him pay for what he has done to him. The next day, Peter heads over to work, but while on his way there, he catches the TV showing off Kraven the Hunter. Kraven tells everyone that he and his TV show are coming from Australia all the way over to America to film his show. He has a big surprise for everyone, but he isn't going to be making the announcement of what it is until he reaches the stage.
Shout out my nigga Kraven. Shout out my nigga Kraven.
Peter overhears some of the workers talking about a breaking
I forgot that nigga
some
Divine.
man with mechanical arms climbing hammer towers and trying to break in. Peter begins to think about it for a moment, and then he remembers back to when he was at Norman Osborn's facility and he met Otto Octavius, an individual who used a device that had mechanical arms attached to it. After getting off of work, Peter suits up and heads over to Hammer Towers to find out what's going on. And he finds Justin Hammer speaking with two SHIELD agents. They ask Justin Hammer if he knows who Dr. Otto Octavius is, and Justin tells them no. But the agents look at him and Justin says that he just met him. Agent Carter then says that Colonel Fury would need a better answer than that. Carter then goes on to explain how Otto was fused with the machine that gave him mechanical arms, but the explosion at Norman's plant left him with amnesia, and he seems to have come here for something. After they talk for a little while, Justin notices something in the window and he sees Spider-Man's head. The two agents spin around firing their blasters, barely missing Spider-Man, and Spider-Man figures that it might be as good a time as any to leave. The next morning, Kraven the Hunter's plane touches down in New York while his fans and reporters gather around to find out what his big announcement is. One reporter runs up telling him the world wants to know what he's going to be hunting in New York of all places, that he couldn't be hunting anywhere else. Kraven smiles, stating, "I'm here to hunt a very special kind of species. I'm here to hunt the one that they call Spider-Man."
Crazy. Yo, we talked about Kraven just a few days ago on the comic on The Last Hunt. Dude, I would love a good live action version. I have not seen this live action movie. I would love to see a good Kraven in a movie, like as a villain or something. I'm gonna wrap it up right here. We're gonna wrap up the Ultimate Spider-Man read through right here. I appreciate y'all for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that. I'm gonna end